Ladies and gentlemen, people of the internet, it's Oscar season. And one of the things that happens in Oscar season is you get a better class of movie. Apparently that also calls for horror films because Don't Breathe is a very good horror film. It is not a perfect horror film. In fact, I would say it's got its issues, but it is a very, very good horror film and definitely a contender for the best horror film of this year, right along there with Lights Out. Don't Breathe is directed and co-written by Fede Alvarez. I'm probably butchering that. And this is the same guy that brought you the remake of The Evil Dead. Now, I did not see the remake of The Evil Dead. I haven't looked it up. I don't know if it was considered a good movie or not. But if this is any indication, it was a pretty good movie. Because Don't Breathe is a very tense film. It's a film with a limited location, not unlike The Evil Dead. And it's a film that really... This is not a horror film per se. This is more of a thriller. It is not wholly and natively a thriller. There are some scenes that will certainly horrify you, but for most of the time it's the tension that keeps your pulse pumping on this particular film. Good job, Fede. Now, also returning from the Evil Dead remake is Jean Levy. Leave? I'm butchering it, I know. And she plays a character of Rocky, who is our hero, or heroine as you might say, and the most sympathetic character of the lot. Her goal here is to steal money from a blind person, not because he's blind, but because she needs this money to provide a better life for her young sister, because she has a very abusive home life. We know this in the first 20 minutes of the film. It's no kind of real spoiler, but this gives us the motivation. This is a character, she's not a perfectly clean character, but she's a character we can sympathize with. We can understand why she's doing what she's doing, and in all reality, we live in a world where the law should do something about the abuse she and her sister are suffering. So we can understand that this is a societal fault, and that this societal fault deserves correction. Now, Daniel, I believe it's Zavato, plays Money, or he's a classic heel. He is Rocky's boyfriend. He is essentially purely evil, strictly in it for his own reasons type of a character. We see this in the first 5 minutes of the film when they're robbing a house, the three main characters, and he goes out there and urinates on the rug. He is saying to the homeowner, "Screw you, I'm doing this just because it messes with you. I am here for me, I'm having fun, and I'm enjoying myself. I like hurting people." Now, I'm going to butcher this to Dylan Minnati. Should be Manit according to the rules of English, but he plays the sensible, sort of the good guy character. He's not a hero by any means. He's helping his friends break into homes because his father works for a security company. And he's said, okay, well, we can get the keys, we can go out there, we can do this safely. He knows the law. I mean, he knows the law like the back of his hand. He's gone, he's read everything about the law. This is his business. He appears to be a career criminal, a career petty theft criminal to be precise. And what he's really here to do is because he's in love with the Rocky character. He's going, I want to help this woman. I want to take her away from this heel that is her boyfriend, that is Money, and I want to save her from this life. So, on the one hand, he does do that, but on the other hand, you really wish he could find a better way. And that's one of these things about a lot of movies, is that it really would be nice if there were a better way. There really is no better way. We live in a bad society where the economy is just falling apart, and it doesn't matter how clever you are, you really can't get by nowadays. One of the things about the film Don't Breathe is that it is saying something not only about the characters at hand, but about our society at whole. It is speaking to the concept of urban decay. And when you look at this film, where is it set? It is set in the only inhabited house in essentially what looks like a post-apocalyptic world. So what they're saying is that the post-apocalypse that we always believed would happen, it has happened. It's already happened. Look at Detroit. Look at places where this will happen. This is the urban horror story. This is the horror story that happens a few blocks from your home. And that's one of the reasons why it is such a very effective horror movie, is that this could be happening somewhere near you. Now, Stephen Lang plays, and it is stated that Mr. Lang his character is the blind man. He is never given a name. There may be a name somewhere in the script, but for the sake of making it easy, calling him the blind man makes a lot of sense. And he is essentially the monster of this film. He is the xenomorph. He is Freddy Krueger. And this is where it flips the script. You know this obviously from the trailers if you've seen them. This is a film where everyone is essentially a bad guy. It's bad guys fighting bad guys. Very similar to the Tales from the Crypt series, where you've got characters you can't really get behind all the way being attacked by characters you truly hate. And there is some sympathy for this character. His story is the reason he has this money is that he lost his daughter to an accident, and the family that caused the accident was very affluent, so they gave him a lot of money. And he lost his sight in Iraq, defending our country. He looks a little old to be that character, although it's possible. Unfortunately, where this story starts to sour is that the blind man character is a little too superhuman. I have studied psychology. I understand these things, and I know how the human body adapts. So the fact that he was blinded so late in life, I mean, this is essentially a remake of Blind Fury in a way, where you've got the same character in a new situation. But yeah, I mean, he's a little too superhuman to be believable. This makes him an effective monster. So this is, if you're the nitpicker, you're not going to like that. You're going to be like, okay, that's kind of unrealistic. But then, remember, this is just a movie. And if you're the kind of person that you're not going to nitpick the movie, that's going to be just fine with you. If you're the kind of person that is going to nitpick the movie, you're going to nitpick that. And that's only the first of things that wind up being a number of plot holes in this film that you wind up nitpicking by the end. So the first half of this film is absolutely 100% an A-plus movie. And it starts losing steam as the tension rises, because there are things that there are points here and there where you're like, okay, that wouldn't happen, that can't happen, that character is running really well on a broken leg. I mean, you know, that leg was, we heard the crunching of the bones, we saw the scene where they were using the injury as part of the combat, and now they're running really well on a broken leg. So yeah, I understand why it's there. Again, it did take me out of the movie. It probably won't do that to you. Remember, I'm supposed to be looking at these things critically. I cannot sit back and say, I'm just going to enjoy myself. If you're a horror movie fan and you're just going to sit back and enjoy yourself, this is definitely a good movie for you. If you're the kind of person that you look at how well crafted the plot is, this is going to take you out of it. Now look, this movie is A+ for acting, it is A+ for production, it is A+ for the atmosphere it creates. However, it is a B-/C+ for the script itself. The script itself is the only point where there's a problem. There are holes in the plot. I, as the reviewer, have a responsibility to look at that. I don't think it's going to bother anyone else. So yeah, go see Don't Breathe. Enjoy that movie, because it is a solid horror film and it is definitely going to thrill you to the core. So, why don't you tell me in the comments below, I would like to know, what is your favorite movie that has an obvious plot hole that you don't mind? I'm Richard.